Welcome, Touch and Tips, episode 34.
What's up, guys?
Back to a two-man show. Missing our boy Zach today.
I wouldn't say we're missing him.
Yeah, all right, fine.
Fuck him.
He's, turning over a new page in his life, I think. He's being dedicated gym boy, so that's cool.
I guess that's the thing.
That's all right with me. I've been trying to get back into the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really the gym, though. I just have that workout bench on the other side. I
Yeah.
don't know why I'm such a bitch and I can't do that for like a half hour a day.
I mean, it's hard.
It's right there. You know what the hardest part is like essentially the worst decision I could have made, because I had that set up over here somewhere.
Yeah.
At some point, I forget. The room's taking on so many different looks. But I sacrificed putting the gym stuff into the laundry room as part of like setting this up.
Yeah.
And
so
also,
now it's like out of sight, out of mind.
no, but not that it's out of sight, out of mind. It's just like, how do you fold the laundry without using the bench as like a thing? You know what I mean?
Home operations.
Anytime you want to go work out, it's like, well, now I got to put the laundry away. You know what I mean? So
the reason that you're not lifting up like 200 pounds is because there's like pieces.
I
There's
don't want
like
to lift up
socks.
7.
There's socks in your way.
Yeah, not really socks, just more like it's like I'll drape all of my shirts over the bench bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the bench, I'll have like my drawers, my fucking sweatpants, you know what I mean? Just everything. It's like it just makes it so easy to fold and then transfer over.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're, I don't know. I'm being a bitch. That's what I'm saying.
You're being a bitch. That's all right, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, big news of the week, I guess, would be the plane crashes and the fucking Luka trade, both of which are pretty disastrous.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want to go and do first?
I mean,
Plane crashes might be a little heavy, but we'll have to get your fucking your conspiracy theory shit maybe like in a little bit.
we've already gone down the plane crash route, so I mean, we might as well go for it.
All
Like, I've only watched like a few videos of it, none of them of which like there's a cancer doctor on board and this is all on purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've only seen like a few. It's like these
Nobody's figured out how to use like a fucking fully electronic car or whatever, like powered by like corn syrup or something.
seed oils.
Yeah, exactly.
No. So basically, it's just, I think from what I saw, it's just a conglomeration of user error.
Yeah.
And
The
I know
fucking
it's unfortunate that it goes down like that, but if you do look into it, it's like, I don't understand why they have it set up the way that they have it set up.
yeah.
You know, like especially around the Capitol, there's all these no-fly zones, there's all these military zones, and I guess there's like 2 runways that you go, and one of them it's like you take this last second, diversion or whatever from the normal route to hit this other runway, and just seems like there's like way too much going on. You listen
Yeah.
to like the transmissions of like how they talk to each other, and it's like the worst walkie-talkie that you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, why don't they have like
Haven't we evolved past this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just weird to me that like there aren't these I don't know, other warning systems in effect, like on either plane or helicopter that's like, hey, you're directly in the trajectory of this other thing.
Yeah, I mean, we got fucking AI to help us write fucking term papers and shit, but we can't fucking have it like direct fucking traffic for us in the air. Like,
I don't know.
there's got to
Maybe
be.
they're scared that's like the first step to Skynet is like teach it how to drive an Apache helicopter.
Yeah.
And it's like, then it's,
That's true.
yeah.
I don't know.
I also heard, and another thing that I saw, and I don't want to spread any misinformation, but I saw this on a few other YouTubes and shit. But it's like there's only 3 people on the helicopter, and that's kind of like considered a skeleton crew.
Yeah.
So there's no like rear spotters involved for anything like that. And it was a training mission, and there were less than I don't know if it's like for the entire crew that they say the flight hours that they have, or if it's just for the pilot, but it was under 500.
Yeah.
So
I'd heard that there was like 3 other like near misses before they hit the one that they hit. Like it was coming down the Potomac or whatever, and like it almost had crashed into like 3 other airplanes before
wow.
that one.
I didn't see that part.
I mean, I think I saw that in a video like the day after the fucking crash. So I mean, maybe they've since debunked that, but that was what I heard.
Another thing that I saw too, it's like a guy, he goes through and he shows the flight pass over like a map
Yeah.
that has like, all the overlays of all the information that you could want to see. And one thing he does question that he kind of takes off the plate of the helicopter pilots is, or maybe the further you look into it, why didn't the helicopter pilots request more assistance from the controller? Is like they essentially asked them to maintain visual confirmation on this aircraft from 5 miles away
Yeah.
at night in bad conditions. And it's like, that's just not
Possible.
normal protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was another plane taking off as this one was coming in. So there's some confusion of like, did you think that, this what you were supposed to be looking at the plane taking off, not the one that was coming in?
Yeah.
And also like, why 5 miles out did you, not only the controller, but the pilots release themselves of talking to each other about what was going on after that?
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't, to me, how the 2 or 3 guys that I watched laid it out, they kind of all had the same thing, that this is like it's a comedy of errors on all parts, and it's going to lead to, stricter enforcement
massive overhaul
of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just sucks, man. Like, I was thinking about that, talking to my wife about it the other day. Like, for everybody that's involved in that, like, it's just crazy to think about. Like, you snap your fingers on like a normal, this is a normal everyday occurrence. People fly all the time, especially me. I work at the airport. It's like people fly all the time. You know what I mean? You put your hands in the grace of these checks and balances that are in place. You know what I mean? And they never let a bad plane take off. You hear that all the time. There's delays, and it's like, well, I'd rather be delayed than dead.
Yeah.
And this plane was so close to landing. You know what I mean? What the impact happened 400 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
And, just think about that. Like, my wife used to travel for work all the time. And if somebody told me in like the blink of an eye, like, I never get to see her again, no goodbye, my life has completely changed and shifted from here on out. Like, I've lost my best friend in the world. Like, that's fucking devastating. You know what I mean? Over some shit like, how did it get this bad? Like, to me, it's just like it got this bad because of corporate greed.
Yeah.
Like, there's too much going on in this area. And, like, if you're going to have the military that close and the White House this close, and, like, who the fuck put the public airport there in the first place?
Right.
Just fucking move that shit. Or I don't know. And there's a lot of, like, from what I heard, too, talking to other people at the airport, it's not just, like, the helicopters and stuff. There's a lot of, like, smaller planes doing, like, private flights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Little, like, puddle jumps here and there for, like, important people. And it's just like, why do you have all this shit going on in the name of this and that? Like, there's fucking Skype, there's FaceTime, there's all this shit. Like, you don't need to get on a plane to go have a meeting anymore.
Right.
Like, we live in the future. Like, you can teleport your brain to the other room via fucking satellite dish. So,
I mean, if we're getting into the discussion of remote work and shit, I mean, that's kind of like, you're right in the sense that I think in a couple, maybe like another 10 or 20 years, like it will be kind of all like that. But right now we're holding on because of all of the old guard who like spent all of COVID being like, I don't know how to work Zoom. It's like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, Or like these people, like, middle management really is actually, I think, who's doing it. Like, they're the ones that are like leading this whole, let's get back to the office. And it's like, well, why? So that way, like, you can secure your own position. Because I got news for you, like, middle management doesn't fucking do anything in any fucking aspect of corporate, like, world. So they need people in the office so that way they can pretend like they actually do something,
Yeah, they'll walk around telling people they didn't put their cover letters on and stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, that's why, to take it to the the other world, my wife, she works like a 9 to 5 in like the corporate environment, you know what I mean? And when she took this job, she was going to work out of Providence, and then she started training in the Boston office, and she thought that the networking, the mentorship, the elbow rubbing that could come along from working in the Boston office was there.
Yeah.
And now there's been some promotions and some rearrangement going on and stuff like that. And now she's just like, screw it. Like, what I need out of that office is no longer there. Why am I wasting 6+ hours
going in
a week on the train, putting a request in to work out of Providence?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's cool. So now she's going to gain, all those hours back in her life.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife works remotely.
Yeah.
Yeah, she fucking stays at home. But her job, though, is all, like, in Vietnam and fucking India and shit. Like, she works compliance. So, like, all she does is just sit at home and, like, email India all day, But, yeah, you can fucking do that from anywhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw the funniest meme or not a meme, a reel. It's like these tow truck drivers of like a semi truck that like drove under a bridge or hit something.
Yeah.
And they're humming like that Indian, like hum no 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 no, like that song. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden the camera shifts out to like the guy that was driving the truck, and it's like a dude standing there in a turban. And I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like these tow truck drivers are ruthless, bro. Like, there's no way that guy can't hear you doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, even if you're in he's outside of the semi truck and you're in like the front of it.
Yeah.
You're like 20 feet away from him, 40 feet away from him, like.
Yeah.
And the guy had shredded the whole side of the box, so it's like,
shit.
You know what I mean? Like the words are coming out of the side.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was great. It made me laugh out loud in my bed.
Yeah.
And Renee had to be like, do I even want to know? And I'd be like, no,
not really. Yeah.
She thinks that her job is listening to all of my terrible comments via her work phone.
They might be.
They probably, yeah. They're like, this guy is a menace.
I mean, I don't even know how you could call somebody your best friend if they don't even know who Bam Margera is.
Yeah, that was wild. She doesn't know. My wife had no idea who Bam Margera is. So there is a thing on HBO Max about Bam.
Yeah.
And I got excited because I thought it was going to be like a series, but it is a series, but it's about.
It's like a standalone couple episodes, that's it?
It's like one episode on one person, and it goes on to like
okay, gotcha.
a couple other things. But I guess it was the thing about conservatorships, and there's a conservatorship, and then there's something else that's like a less dosage of that, where you don't have.
Are we talking about like the Britney Spears shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So this girl, she like she's a survivor of like a terrible situation, and she developed this like VR software to help people recover from what would you call
Trauma?
this? Trauma and substance abuse situations. You know what I mean? So she basically like immersed them in this VR world where there were all these triggers. And essentially now they're playing this VR video game that's teaching you how to, not pick the bottle up, not go into the room where the syringes are and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know what they don't really get into what the consequences in the game or the VR thing are of you making the bad decisions.
Yeah. It's like Clockwork Orange shit. They like zap you and shit.
I'm not sure. I didn't see anything about them getting zapped. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You just lose the game and you have to start over. And you just, I don't know. It just goes into mental reprogramming, right? But this chick, she's like a young girl. Like, she's not like some fucking like 50-year-old tenured psychology professor. You know? Like, she's
like some 24-year-old fucking with your brain chemistry. Yeah.
Essentially, yes. Yeah. So that's like what so she helps this girl. And it's also, I don't know if you watch this guy's channel, Soft White Underbelly. But he has a YouTube channel. He has some compelling, he just interviews like crazy people. Like he interviews a lot of people from like Skid Row.
Yeah.
He did like went to like the Appalachian Mountains, and he found like
Meth Mountain and shit.
Yes. Yeah. But he also found like this famous like inbred family.
Oh,
he got them to give an interview and stuff.
Yeah.
And Hell's Angels and all, like he probably has like 400 or 500 episodes at this point. You know what I mean? And sometimes they blow up prostitutes, pimps, like all kinds of shit like that. Former inmates, murderers, all this shit. So he has this girl on, and she's like a fucking crazy, like she's like bipolar and like a crackhead.
Yeah.
And probably a few other things.
Yeah.
I think she's definitely being a prostitute and shit, just out on the streets being fucking crazy, and wild. And so she uses this girl's VR software. The guy from Soft White Underbelly is like, holy shit, this girl's like really recovering. So he tries to shout out the girl with the VR stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Now she's on to Bam, right? So Bam's family signs over the conservatorship to her. It's not a conservatorship, though. Some other thing where she doesn't have control of Bam's money.
Right.
It's just, so Bam takes a liking to her. He seems to start like doing well. And then it just goes like awry.
Yeah.
Because there's another like internet celebrity, or this like weird internet girl that thinks that she is the movie character from Legally Blonde.
Okay.
She went to law school. She has a law degree. She wears pink all the time. She's got blonde hair. Her lips are like crazy full of
collagen and shit.
Yeah, like she's
Botox.
just sitting there, like you can almost like see him throbbing. You know what I mean? She's like a caricature almost. Like, so she has this crazy internet following, And part of that internet following is what got Britney Spears out of her conservatorship. Like, it was her fans that were like just shit posting on social media, and you know what I mean, like causing all this ruckus and getting it into the news headlines and stuff like this. So now essentially Britney's out of her conservatorship, and now these fans have turned their attention. And then they bring these fans on, and it's like, bro, these people are crazy. Like, these are not normal. They bring on like the internet trolls that are of this lady's army, you know, and they're talking to me like, bro, this person is not right, you know? And so basically now these internet trolls have turned Bam Margera against the girl who's, you know, trying to help him, the VR girl or whatever.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep like 75% of the way through the episode, but the last thing that I remember is like Bam just like walking up to her through like a gate or something and be like, why are you so evil? You know what I mean? Just like fucking yelling at her and all this shit. And it's just like, he's never going to get better, dude. Like, he's fucking tapped.
That's just it. I feel like these conservatorships are, like, there for a reason. Like, most of these people are fucking tapped.
Yeah,
you know?
like, I don't think
Britney Spears getting out of it like a good thing?
I don't think
like,
she's doing it much better, bro.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I just can't. My wife did not have MTV. You know what I mean? So I feel like
what cable package in the 90s didn't have
maybe
MTV?
They just didn't have cable.
Yeah.
Like, there was a period in my wife's life.
She grew up in fucking Idaho or something?
No, she grew up in like Mass, and then they moved to Connecticut. But I feel like when they moved to Connecticut, they were like building this dream house.
Yep.
So there's a period of my wife's life where she's like traumatized by just being in Home Depot all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she's just on the supply run for the old man to pick up whatever he needed to build out this room and that room. And so I guess, you know, they didn't have cable during that time. So she missed out on like a lot of this.
All the Viva La Bam.
Not just that, but like I can't think of like other things that I'm like, how the fuck do you not know this? Like, we're only 2 years apart, you know? Like, you should know this shit. And it's like, well, I didn't fucking have cable. And she like says it like that. Like, it's some fucking like struggle, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if there's a person who, like, if you are saying like, how do you not know this? Like, then she must be like literally in the dark. Like, she had to have been like in a Taliban cave for the majority of her fucking
I used
childhood.
to know though.
Yeah,
I used to be in the know. Like, there was a period where I did see like all the new movies and have all the new CDs and stuff, and I was the guy being like, "You never seen this movie?"
Yeah.
What do you mean you never seen?
It must have been such a small period of time because like it
was only like 3 years.
I mean, yeah,
if that.
Yeah, Jesus. So you're just like that period of time where between like Fast and the Furious coming out and like fucking Gladiator coming out, that's like your pocket of time, like 99 to 2003.
I mean, Fast and the Furious, I feel like had an unfortunate effect on my life where I was like, I gotta have a fast, cool car.
Yeah.
Like, if yes, I have to do that. So maybe, I mean, Fast and the Furious came out when I was like maybe a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
And then,
damn, was it that early? 98?
I remember watching The Ring when that came out and being like super compelled about that. That was during a time in my life where like I had stayed up for like the majority of 5 days and did all these drugs and shit and watched The Ring like 5 times trying to get to the bottom of it.
Right.
I
guess that's the genesis of a lot of your shit then.
You know, around that time, I discovered Fight Club in high school, but I don't think I understood like the cool duality message of it and everything. We've talked about what's that other movie? Mulholland Drive, Memento.
I always get Mulholland Drive mixed up with
Vanilla Sky. Like, I would be watching all these movies that you're like trying to, you know, it's like a riddle throughout it. You know, like I don't know, I was like into that shit.
Vanilla Sky is good. That movie's mad underrated. Fucking, what do you think is the ending of that movie?
Of Vanilla Sky?
Yeah.
Man, it's been so long since I watched it. The only thing I was thinking about is like fucking Tom Cruise. Of course, this fucking jerk off gets to like make out with
Cameron Diaz
and Penelope Cruz
Cruz,
all in the same shit.
Yeah. Now the end of that movie though was like kind of like
essentially he's like a rich guy, right?
Yeah.
And he pays to like go into this this dream world instead of a death situation where like everything he wants he gets.
Yeah.
But in real life, he's murdered by a psycho girl that won't accept him.
So the end of the movie ends with somebody saying like, "Wake up," you know, like that, like at the beginning of the movie. Yeah. So it's kind of like what the argument or whatever is like. At what point in time was he ever awake? of over the course of this whole movie? Was the entire thing from start to finish a dream? Like, did any of it exist?
Yeah.
Or was it like after he, got in the accident? Was it before he got in the accident? Was it after? Was it like the part where it actually cut? Like, you know what I mean? So, like that's the whole thing with Vanilla Sky, where like everyone like there's like different
You know what I just
thoughts
thought?
of when when he was dreaming.
Regardless of this either, though, like he has a best friend in the movie who is in love with one of the girls. And he just goes and fucks her anyway.
Yeah.
And this is like this rich playboy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't give your boy your best friend in the world. You couldn't give him just one. So I'm glad that girl drove you off a fucking cliff.
Yeah, you deserve it,
Like,
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, even if it was just in a dream.
Yeah.
Oh, another one. So I feel like at this point too, like I don't think Tom Cruise is as much of a tool bag. Like I never watched the Mission Impossible movies. And I don't know
I've seen a couple of them. They're all right.
I don't know
Yeah.
what. I guess maybe I've never seen Top Gun from start to finish either. So it's like
Top Gun. I mean, it's classic '80s.
But
It's definitely worth watching.
I'm just saying, like I think my introduction to like thinking Tom Cruise is all right is like Vanilla Sky,
Yeah.
and then he comes out with like Minority Report, which is like another
It's another
movie
good
that
movie.
kind of fucks with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this dude's fucking kind of cool. And
Yeah.
then like I don't know, I get exposed to him like jumping on the couch on Oprah, being like. I'm in love with this 20-year-old girl. And then he's
Yeah.
like a Scientologist and shit.
Yeah.
And then you ever seen the diagram where like his fucking skull doesn't line up?
Oh yeah.
Like his fucking.
Yeah, his face is asymmetric. Well, all of our faces are asymmetric.
I don't
but,
think so, dude.
Yeah. 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 We're not perfect.
His is fucking off though, dude. Like the center line of
Well,
his
yeah,
teeth.
his teeth is
like
off.
what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on with that?
Whatever. I mean, he's a handsome man still. Just saying.
I feel like that's like a. There's a lizard under there. You know, like
Yeah. I mean, maybe, but
there's
he
like
makes
a Men in Black, like you know, somebody's like Will Smith has like shot his head off too many times and it just grew in crooked. Like
I don't know.
you don't get that reference?
I do,
From,
yeah.
All right. You just don't think it's true.
No, well, I mean, maybe it's true, but either way, he makes fucking good movies. If anyone's a lizard person and I'm willing to forgive it, it's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he's not aging.
Yeah, I mean, fucking.
Right.
I mean, that's probably more of like a sinister Illuminati, like bathing in the blood of
Yes,
of children,
of traumatized
Yeah,
children.
Exactly.
The adrenochrome.
Yeah.
Like, isn't there there's like some picture of him standing next to the kid from Jerry Maguire who's like an adult now.
Who
and,
looks like older
yeah,
and
he
shittier
looks
than
like
he
shit.
does.
Yeah, it's like.
To be fair, though, the kid from Jerry Maguire, even back then, you were like, you're gonna grow up to be a fucking probably balding weirdo.
Like every child actor, like I wonder if they take the opposite of steroids. They just like keep injecting them into something like they inject themselves with like the blood of Webster and the kid Brick from the middle.
Yeah.
And like they try to
stunt
stay
their growth.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah, because look at them. They're all like fucking. They all grow up to be like
Oh, they look
weird.
terrible. Yeah. Like Macaulay Culkin looks like straight like a skeleton.
Yeah, but he looks the best out of all of them.
Yeah, maybe.
And he's really like I don't know why he's fucking so cool to like make movies, but like if they could make like a new one where they try to break in and he just fucking like slaughters them with like guns and stuff, like
Home Alone 6,
like
where he's
Home Alone
fucking
meets like Die
41-year-old
Hard or
man.
something.
Yeah.
No, Home Alone meets
Home
like
Alone
the
is
Siege
basically
or
just
the
Die Hard.
Purge.
Well, yeah.
Home Alone meets the Purge. Like
Yeah.
they try to come in and he's just strapped because he's traumatized, right?
Yeah.
Like why wouldn't he be a gun hoarding?
Yeah.
Or like Macaulay Culkin he's like become like a cult leader. Like Macaulay Culkin has his own Branch Davidians.
Yeah.
And they try to raid the Waco. And it's just like fucking and they come in and there's like fucking fake people on train sets. And they're like, what the fuck? And then he comes out and just fucking blasts them with like an AK and shit.
Fucking grenade launcher. Boonk.
Oh, you're nice. Sound effects. Speaking of that, I was I don't know why my barber and I were talking about this, and I've never been a gun guy. I feel like because I always think when I think about owning a gun, I'm either gonna like show it to somebody who's driving like an idiot while I'm in my car and get in big trouble about it, or just have a really bad day and put it in my mouth. And I've been like, I don't need either one of those in my life. But I think I've progressed in the point of my mental health, where like, all right, I'm just not gonna put the gun in my car, so I don't have that problem going on. But I think I can have a gun in my house and not be like, today's the day. Yeah. So, like, my barber and I started looking at, like, cool guns, and I was like, well, what's all the ones that they talk about in rap? And there's one called the Draco. Yeah. It's like an AK-47 pistol.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's my new thing. I think I don't care about cars anymore. I think, I want to get some guns.
It's fucking even more expensive than cars, so get used to that.
Why?
Fucking ammo. Ammo's fucking ridiculously expensive. Like, if you want to fire any of these guns, it's outlandish.
You know what they do in one of my most favorite movies ever, Project Metal Beast? They'd be like melting stuff down
Yeah.
and making their own ammunition.
Well, good luck doing that. Yeah.
Why? Just collect cans and get a furnace.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
You ever
sure.
see those guys on YouTube?
And then you put too much fucking powder in there or something, and you blow your fucking fingers off.
I would do that.
Yeah.
Jason Pierre-Paul, myself.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Ryan Van Dam.
Who's Ryan Van Dam?
I just made that up. Jason Pierre-Paul, Ryan Van Dam. This is fucking French shit.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
Wilkie Van Dam. I'm sorry for the person that you know.
Oh, okay. No, I get it now. I thought it was like fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme's like, autistic brother or something.
Hello?
I'm Jean-Claude.
It's
and this
me.
is my brother, Ryan.
It's me. That's what I was going for the whole time.
You don't have the flexibility.
No.
No.
You're never going to have kids, man. That's my guy. Do you know any other movies that he's in?
Jean-Claude?
No, the dude,
guy. The big guy? Yeah. Well, he's the main bully in, well, not main bully, but like the main big bully in Revenge of the Nerds. That same dude.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought that he'd be if he's still alive.
That's a good question.
But he'd be, because there's like Happy Gilmore 2's being filmed, but it's like all the fucking cool, like, ancillary characters are dead.
Yeah.
Like the guy that wants to go to Red Lobster.
Yeah.
I think he's dead.
He's dead. The big guy with the nail in his head, he's dead.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So can the dude from the Jean-Claude Van Damme
Replace
movies
him?
replace, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that guy has to be dead. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, I
actually
bet
right
he
now.
hasn't lived a life of
I bet you not only is he dead, I bet you he died in
and
like
vigor.
1997.
No.
Well, I'll look it up right now. Bloodsport? Or no, was it Kickboxer or Bloodsport that he was in?
I don't know, bro. I get those movies confused.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
I can't tell you the difference between Kurt
Holy
Russell
shit.
and like
He's
that
alive.
other guy. Yeah.
He's alive. He doesn't look great, though. 70 years old.
Who's the guy that like danced with Chris Farley as like a Chippendale dancer on Saturday
Patrick
Night Live?
Swayze?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got but is Patrick Swayze is not the same guy that's in Escape from L.A.
No,
Or
that's
New York. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Yeah.
I can't keep them two separate in my mind either. Like they're both.
Well, I always get
They could both be the leg of Scuzzlebutt as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So that guy was in Revenge of the Nerds and fucking Bloodsport, and those were his two big movies. But I always get him confused with the dude who's from The Golden Child, who's like another ugly, big-ass guy.
I don't know that movie.
You never seen Well, why am I surprised?
The Golden Child? Is
Yeah.
that
Eddie
Macaulay
Murphy?
Culkin where he like kills?
No, that's The Good Son. That's
Oh,
another
yeah.
fucking good movie, though. No, The Golden Child's an Eddie Murphy movie where he like, it's a fucking weird movie.
Bro, I feel like the only Eddie Murphy movie I've ever seen from beginning to end is like The Nutty Professor.
What?
Yeah.
He has so many fucking good
Like,
movies.
is he in Beverly Hills Cop?
This guy. He's also the guy from Ace Ventura. Remember the beginning of Ace Ventura? Do you watch? No. Never
Yeah, I've watched Ace Ventura a lot in my life, but I don't remember that man.
He's like in the very beginning where like he's delivering the package and like he like signs off on it. Like the big, assholes in the mirror are closer than they appear.
Oh,
That guy. Yeah. No, but anyway.
Have you ever heard Jim Carrey talk about how much Tommy Lee Jones hated him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a curious case.
I don't approve of your buffoonery.
Yeah. You know what else is a weird thing too? Like Jim Carrey was in Hot Water a few years ago about like he like dated this girl,
Yeah.
and she like killed herself, and then like she also had stated that like he gave her herpes and all these other like sexual transmitted diseases,
Damn.
and it was something where like there was evidence that like Jim Carrey had gave her money. But they couldn't like there was a court case and everything. There was like we'll drop the civil case if you just submit your health records or whatever. And he wouldn't submit his health records, and I don't know how the case got dismissed, but he seems to be like in the good graces of the Illuminati again because he's like
He's back out at it.
yeah.
He I think there was a rumor he was fucking Ariana Grande. The singer?
Yeah.
Whatever? Yeah.
I
don't know.
mean,
he gets around, dude. The fucking guy, like, I don't know. He must have a fucking hog, but fucking women in Hollywood seem to love him. I think he was fucking Cameron Diaz. He's fucking the Holly Hunter.
no,
bitch.
he's with wasn't he fucking Jenny McCarthy for a
Jenny
while?
McCarthy. Yeah. That's what Yeah, my bad. It wasn't Cameron Diaz. She was in The Mask. It was Jenny McCarthy. But
Yeah.
he's fucked a bunch
Bro,
of.
The Mask is what started my love affair with Cameron Diaz.
She's fucking hot in that movie.
And then you know who
Yeah.
ruined it? fucking Aroyd. I don't want Aroyd in my fucking Eskimo brother circle.
Yeah.
And he seems to ruin a lot of my shit. Like, I should hate him for Red Sox-Yankees rivalry and, like, being, like, a steroid cheater.
Yeah.
But I think you ruined Cameron Diaz for me, and you also ruined Jennifer Aniston for me, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh. What about that rumor that I told you about?
Which one?
Jennifer Aniston is fucking Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah, that can't be true.
Barack Obama is all done with Big Mike.
Is that like an actual verifiable thing?
Yeah. They've made comments to dispute it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just like an internet rumor that's gotten out of control, but it's like apparently Barack and Michelle have been on the rocks for years, and it's just essentially like a Bill and Hillary kind of, they're together in a arranged marriage sort of thing.
Yep.
And
it says blah, 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 blah. As it turns out, the rumors were completely unfounded, especially suggestion that Barack has been cheating on Michelle with actor Jennifer Aniston. So I think it was just a internet rumor.
That's
exactly what they want you to believe.
Drink a little more tap water about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd pay to watch that porn though, for sure.
Obama's got his sneakers on, bro.
Yeah, for sure. For sure Obama's rocking the sneakers. The fucking white high tops.
No, they gotta be like those black Reeboks that like the servers wear.
No, that's the black porn move, man. They're like the white Nike like high tops. That's what they roll. With the fucking high socks too.
Like the fuck what are they called? You don't know what they're called? I should know what they're called.
Yeah.
They're called damn, bro. They're like the black version of those shoes are like what you call they're the official footwear of people who steal from house parties they weren't invited to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck, man. I can't believe I can't think of the name of the Nike Air. They're called Air somethings. Of course they are. Bro.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. Like the fucking what else we got here coming on? Actually, do you want to get into the Luka shit now? Like, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could do that. I don't fucking. He must be like a fucking pain in the ass. Like it has to be that. Like he has to just be a fucking maniac behind the scenes. How the fuck are you gonna trade a 25-year-old superstar? He's like the third most marketable player in the NBA.
He's also like, if they didn't, I don't think that they like, essentially. They just don't think that he's worth the crazy Supermax deal that they were going to have to pay him.
They give everyone Supermax deals. Everybody in the fucking NBA who's like a halfway decent player gets a Supermax deal. It's like that's just what you have to pay.
I don't know, man. I've heard knocks that like Luka doesn't play defense. He's a defensive liability.
Yeah.
Like blah blah blah. So it's like if you don't think that guy is a the number on it was like $300-something million extension, $323 or $373 million or something like that. So if you don't think that he's that number one guy that you can build around to win a championship, and you can trade for a guy that's already under a more team friendly deal.
Yeah, but I mean, for how much longer? And also, AD's got to be getting up there in age. What is he like? Probably 33.
No, I don't even think he's 30 years old, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like he's been in the league forever.
Yeah, because he went to college for 1 year, and then he became an NBA starter. Like,
I mean, if I had to guess, he's got to be at least 5 years older than fucking.
He was on the Lakers
Luka.
he's on the Lakers for 6 or 7 years, and
he's about to be 32.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean, he's not spring chicken, you know. All I'm saying is you get rid of like even Luka. Forget the fucking money, because the money they make back, like. Jersey sales alone, like I said, the dude is, if it's not LeBron at this point, who is the most marketable player in the fucking NBA? I mean, he's a white guy who like puts up numbers.
I mean, that's the conspiracy of like why this happened. Like to put the old George Carlin quote up there, like these billionaires don't have to have a secret meeting to do what's right for them as a collective.
Yeah, but
what's good for you is what's good for me. So
you're saying putting him in as in a Laker uniform?
Yeah. Now we had now and more likely than not, the people who are going to take the overseas market are the guys that are playing the late games on the West Coast. So it's like now you got Luka drawing the entire European and Asian continent over here,
Yeah.
white Asian continent over here. You know what I mean? Like,
White Asian. Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? White Eurasian, if you will.
Right,
You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
all of these people
The
are
Eastern
now.
Bloc.
All
Yeah.
these people are now rooting for Luka because he came from over there. He's the fucking coolest guy from over there.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like now he's on the Lakers. You pair him with LeBron. It's like that's the prime time games. Like who's not tuning
Watching
into
those.
who's not tuning into that? So
Yeah, I guess.
I could see that. You know, if you pair that business decision for the league, if you will,
Yeah.
with also the fact that Dallas wasn't ready to make that business decision with Luka. They say I've heard these rumblings on the talk shows that he doesn't work out like they want to see him working out. There's that famous video of
the
them
guy
taking
taking the beer out of his hand?
away from
Yeah.
him. That's the guy that traded him,
And
I think.
Yeah, and that face that he makes afterwards, you're just kind of like, oh, there's a rift there for sure.
Well, there's
Yeah.
there's like whoever's recording that isn't like press.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't have been leaked.
Yeah.
So to me, who leaked
Who
that?
leaked
Like
that?
this is classic like Red Sox bullshit. Like
Yeah.
we don't want to. We're gonna paint a terrible picture of the guy on his way out of town while we made a business decision to not pay him.
Yeah.
Instead of just being, hey, you know what I mean? We're gonna let him go because of this and that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the interesting point you bring up is, would the Dallas Mavericks make a trade that they knew would not benefit them, so that way the league would make more money in the long run? I mean, it's possible, but I think
in this situation though, do the Dallas Mavericks have a choice in this?
yeah. Well,
Like they're just like, hey, like this is fucking happening.
Yeah.
Because also why didn't you put Luka up on the open market?
yeah,
This was only a talk discussed between LA. Like essentially what they said happened was that Dallas was focused in on Anthony Davis.
yeah,
And I'm sorry, I don't watch a ton of basketball, but there's enough shit that I've heard from the talking heads to say that Anthony Davis has just as many issues about durability and warrior heart
yeah,
that they say about Luka.
right.
So, like, why would you focus in? Like, this is the guy that you need, a 32-year-old center who has publicly said that he'd rather play the 4?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
Well,
what
then
do you-
also, I feel like
you think that this is the second coming of Shaq and Kobe? Because you have, how old is Kyrie now? 34, 35 years
Yeah, I
old?
mean,
Like,
he's got to be up there too.
so it's like, what? That's what you're going to go forward with is Kyrie and AD?
yeah,
Like, to me, maybe Kyrie's on his way out of town now, too. Like, why wouldn't you try to flip him to a contender?
well, I mean, I think at this point you can't.
He
'cause-
can't have a very long contract left.
Yeah.
In Dallas.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Is at this point you can't, because if you flip Kyrie, now it's like, well, what are you doing? Because you got older with the Luka to AD move, and now what? You're flipping the other guy who you could pair at least with AD to try to make a title run. Then like, what the fuck are you even doing at all?
Yeah, because who's gonna?
Then you might as well trade fucking AD.
Yeah,
you know? Like
who's gonna give you fair market return for like Kyrie?
yeah,
like
no,
he's got
nobody.
enough. Like
Well, I mean, first of all, he's been on half the leagues in the fucking league at this point, so it's like everybody else has a fucking sour taste in their mouth about the guy. So
yeah.
I don't know. It was a weird move for sure. But that said, like, I think the older you get, the more you realize, like, I think when you're younger and you're following basketball or baseball or whatever sport, and you're like, you see these fucking trades and you say to yourself, like, I mean, I guess somebody who must know what they're doing is in charge of that. But the older you get, the more you're just like, oh no, like, there's just people who don't know what the fuck they're doing that are in charge of things, for sure.
It's like that.
Yeah.
I've seen and shared this meme multiple times, but it's like I had my suspicions as a child,
Yeah.
but I've grown up to realize most adults are not smart.
Yeah. No, I'd
You know,
say
like-
the vast majority are stupid.
Yeah. And it's just like I just don't. To me, it's just like, I haven't watched enough Mavericks tape, and even like this, like the Celtics beat this Mavericks team in the finals.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, they just made it to the finals. Yeah.
So it's like, to me, it's like, did that give you what you needed to see about Luka's defensive tenacity, professional intensity, whatever you want to call it, to
Yeah.
say he's not the supermax guy that we want to go with?
yeah.
To me, that's fine, but
I
put
just
him,
don't-
put him on the open market and let some team give you fucking 10 future first-round picks for him the way that they throw first-round picks around in
Yeah.
the NBA, rather than just focusing in on like a 32-year-old injury-prone guy who has also been said to lack tenacity.
Right. I just kind of
Like-
I don't understand anyway, like the idea of, like, don't get me wrong, I love watching, defensive basketball, but like, I'm sorry, but in a league where the average score is now like 127 to fucking 122, it's like, who's playing fucking defense in this league anyway? Like, newsflash, you want a guy who scores 38 a game because You need to have a guy who scores 38 a game. What team in the league is now holding people to under 100 like ever?
Because I literally feel like like basketball, they've literally turned like every game into like the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And then like if you actually want to matter and you actually want to compete, and to me, it's almost like you got to beat the teams in front of you, and you got to beat the fix or the massage that the league is also trying to put in too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
Right.
if you want to accomplish those things, you have to essentially lock in on defense come playoff time. So if you can build a team where, like, you're not really, you got Ben Wallace type guy kind of just hanging out, getting his minutes in, staying in shape, and then you have to, like, transform and play a different form of basketball
Come playoff time.
Come playoff time.
Yeah.
But the league has no problem with this offensive-driven all-star type of approach where, like, the players are just out there kind of more having fun. Like, who's really, you know what I mean? I can't think of more than 4 or 5 guys in the league that pride themselves on defense anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't know how you flip the switch come playoff time.
Yeah.
Like
And I don't really understand why you have to flip the switch come playoff time. Doesn't anyone take any pride in anything anymore? Like, to me, the last basketball player I legitimately enjoyed watching was Ron Artest. He was like the last of the gunslingers, where it was just like, I want a guy who's just going to get in there and just bang and just get the boards and fucking and be a defensive menace. And nobody does that anymore because they don't have to. Like they all just want to fucking,
Well, I just think it's the same thing with football. They've massaged that out of the game with the way that they call it.
Yeah.
Like who's picking anybody up at half court anymore?
Yeah, nobody. Yeah. Or it's an all perimeter game too. So it's like at what point in time do you who gives a fuck? All you have to do is just swing it around fucking 3 times, take whatever open 3 you get. Somebody in the inside maybe gets the offensive board, maybe they don't. Like it's just like that's the whole game, Yeah,
but that's also essentially like why I don't watch as much anymore.
Yeah,
either.
I don't watch it
like
at all,
when you watch like old clips of like if you go back and watch like Jordan or like even a little before Jordan, you watch like Larry Bird highlights and shit. Like those motherfuckers like hitting each other and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to me, it's like they're gonna call all this stuff now. Like if you went and called, like if you asked like AI to go watch these old games and call the penalties that should have happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in a modern time, like I bet you the score would be different. How many points are they putting up for free throws nowadays?
Yeah. Well, I mean, or just in general though, that perimeter, that interior game doesn't exist. So it's like you probably would have less fucking fouls now because literally nobody even puts themselves in a position to get fouled.
Like it's a rarity that you see that like those like fucking dunks in the paint and like that. Like that's the shit that I grew up watching.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say that was the NBA's most marketable thing in the 90s. Like was the fucking the posterized jam.
Yeah, like Shaq coming through the lane. I know Shaq's a bad example because nobody was stopping him, but just like that kind of style of.
But even then, like Shaq isn't the largest human being in the world. Shaq was just a fucking animal. He had that different attitude where he was just like, no, I'm just gonna come in here and just like butt fuck you all night long. Like I will fuck you up. Nobody else. What other center has that like attitude? Or at the very least is put in a position where you can like use that size and athleticism too. Shaq was fucking not only fucking big, but like he was athletic for being a 330 fucking pound, 7'4", 5" fucking guy. Like,
dude, I don't see how like if you're playing like a video game and you're doing like a Legends draft, like and you're just using prime examples of all these players, I don't see how Shaq isn't the first guy off the board.
Shaq is the most dominant basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion.
The war between like wins above replacement baseball statistic, like the drop off between like Jordan and Kobe, and the drop off between Shaq and like whoever the next guy, who's the next guy? Probably Tim Duncan, maybe, or something like in more modern guy. Yeah,
modern. Yeah, probably.
I feel like
Duncan.
Shaq's like a unicorn. Like he's like there's no adjacent person to that.
Yeah,
where like you can get I mean, I guess you're either picking, in this theoretical basketball draft video game kind of thing. There's other teams drafting too.
Yeah,
so it's like you're either going to take prime Shaq. And then you're going to miss out on Jordan and Kobe.
Yeah.
Like, they're all going in the first round, too.
Right.
So, I guess you can't really say, like, well, I'll take Shaq and then I'll just pick Kobe up. Like, you're not going to get Kobe either.
Doesn't matter.
Draft,
I'll take Shaq and Dwayne Wade, the team that fucking like Dwayne Wade would probably be there at like the 33rd pick.
Yeah,
you know?
Dwayne Wade, like he's a guy that played on that defense side too. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, like,
solid.
To me, if that does happen, there's a fantasy draft where you just draft your mythical team. My first overall pick is Shaq.
Yeah,
it just is.
It's
like
mine as well. That's the point that I'm trying to drive home. Like,
he's the most dominant basketball in that 4-year stretch. Call it from like 99 to 2003. There's nobody that's been more dominant. Like, you just threw the ball to him in the paint and it was like, bucket. Like, that's all we need, you know? And he would impose his will on people.
Maybe like him playing with Kobe distorts his possible run at the statistic. But the one thing that I thought of when you were saying this down, though, was like the numbers to back up the Jordan shit, though.
Yeah.
Like, there's a run in Jordan's career where nobody ever even outscores him in a game.
Yeah.
Like, he's the top offensive points getter in every game in like 99%. I think literally it took him playing Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
And AI finally gets him. Like young AI versus like an older Jordan. AI finally gets him as like top point scorer in the game. So like that's fucking dominance if you ask me, but it's only statistical dominance.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not stuff like Shaq does shit that there's no stats for.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just think that Shaq had more of an impact on the floor. I know that's a crazy thing to say than like Jordan did even. You know, like we're just like just having Shaq. If you just had Shaq for a 10-year stretch of time, you were going to the NBA Finals.
He might be the only guy to impose that sort of fear in the opposing locker room as well. Because Jordan had, like, Tiger Woods had that, you know, like that, like, oh, shit. Like, maybe, you know, Shaq probably maybe rounds up the top 3 on that list.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson, I guess, too. Like,
If you want to take Jordan ahead of him, that's fine, but then I'll sit at 2 and I'll take Shaq. You know, like, that's for sure what I'll say.
He might be... If you play this out with like a bunch of basketball heads, like me, you, and like 3 other guys sit around and do this, like he might be the steal of the draft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's probably going to be like Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. Like it would go on that run. Right. And like whoever's sitting there.
I'd be thrilled to take Shaq at 7.
You take Shaq at like 5 or 7. Or even make it like a 10-person thing. You know what I mean? And then you come back around and take maybe Dwayne Wade's still there.
Yeah.
But whatever team I feel like you're able to surround him with all prime other position players, like as long as you draft all right, like shit.
Well, then also like you could pick Jordan, and then you're gonna match him up against Kobe, and that's gonna be that's a tough matchup. There's nobody else you can pick to match up against Shaq. There just isn't. Like, you know, if you want to go old head shit and like, you know, put Bill Russell on him, like Shaq's gonna fucking kill Bill Russell. Yeah. You know, and even if you want to put modern centers on Shaq will still fucking kill those guys.
Yeah, but
that's the thing I think that is the craziest part is that if you picked up a normal player from 25 years ago and put him in whatever league today, they would probably be mediocre or average at best. Whereas Shaq is one of the only guys where it's like, you pick his ass up from 2001 and drop him into 2025 NBA, he would fucking kill people.
Yeah. But I'm also gonna make the concession on this argument that like I'm gonna give the modern gyms and medical science to these old heads as well.
Yeah,
so I'll give them a little bump.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like when you're like, well, they're playing against plumbers, and it's like, well, they also like their locker rooms maybe had a treadmill.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you guys have like fucking stem cell researchers on the team now.
Right.
You know, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna say like if you drop Bill Russell in, well, yeah, Bill Russell's gonna be lifting weights and taking advantage of calisthenics and all this other shit.
All right, that's fair.
And probably doing steroids as well. Like you know, so
all right. Yeah.
What about you know who Chael Sonnen is? He's like an MMA guy.
Yes, I
like
love
a big
him.
Mouth.
Yeah.
You know he says he knows who LeBron's steroid dealer is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can believe it. Yeah.
LeBron's fucking ripped all the time, bro.
And he's getting older. And well, to me I believe it more from the recovery from injury standpoint. Like when you get older, like there are just aches and pains and things that come up, and like you don't just recover from them anymore. You can't be a 38-year-old dude just like being like, oh, I pulled a hammy. I guess I'll miss like a couple games. It's like, nah, dude, it takes like fucking weeks to come back from normally, you know? So I believe it all from that angle, you know? I feel like
that would be like the biggest thing, bro.
I don't know.
Especially because he's like implicated in the Diddy thing from wearing that fucking maid outfit too. Like imagine it comes out LeBron, Diddy,
it's on steroids
and steroids, bro. Like that would be the end of it.
Does basketball even test for steroids?
Yeah. But I think it's kind of one of those things like they used to test for weed back in the day. It'd be like, you know, the test is on this date.
Yeah.
So it's like as long as you can clean yourself out. I don't think you're getting like randomly tested like in the NFL. Like if you,
Yeah. I don't know. Like, but when have you ever heard of a fucking NBA player getting busted for steroids?
bro,
Like, there had to have been guys who were on steroids.
I never heard of it, but did you hear about Terry Rozier, who used to play for the Celtics?
No.
Scary Terry.
Yeah.
Remember this guy?
Yeah.
He's under federal investigation for like his play when he was on the Hornets is like suspect for like gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe he because there's some other dude for the Raptors that caught like a lifetime ban.
Yep.
Somebody put like some like $1 million bet down on his under
Yeah.
or something, and it hit. And they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so like, is that guy buddies with like Rozier or some shit like that? Like, I haven't dug in. I got to put that on. I got to put that on the list.
Well, did you just hear that baseball ump got banned?
No.
Yeah, baseball ump got banned. I guess, I don't know what the story is in actuality, but I think he claims that he was sharing a gambling account with like a friend who put like a bet down on like a baseball game that he was like umpiring or something. Like, yeah, so that's not a great look.
Well, I mean, dude, I don't know how baseball got away with the fucking Shohei Ohtani fucking scandal.
Exactly what I said would happen. They brushed it under the rug
Yeah.
because they had to.
Well, the kid
They
got,
were going to do whatever they could to give him all of the outs to be like, no, it wasn't him actually. It was
Yeah.
his buddy.
Well, they just announced like the sentence for the guy.
What was the sentence?
If I had to guess off the top of my head from what I remember, I think it's something like 7 years.
Yeah.
Or somewhere between 3 and 7. So like,
Yeah.
I'm sure Shohei Ohtani gave you a shitload of money for you to just sit in jail for all this time.
Dude,
It's
I get paid $2.5 million a year to fucking sit in jail.
yeah.
All right, hold up. Ohtani.
You look
Gambling
into
sentence.
that.
Yeah.
I'm taking a piss.
All right.
I got to get a Blake Bortles jersey.
Jesus Christ.
What do you do when you wake up in the morning? Just piss.
What's the first thing you do? Yeah, so looking into this Ohtani thing is kind of wild. So I don't think they've sentenced him yet, but basically like both sides have like come together to like show like he's requesting 18 months and I think the state is seeking 57, 12, 24, 48, 4.5 years. So it's going to probably fall somewhere in that fucking like 1.5 to 4 years range. But I didn't realize this, but they also busted the guy who fucking was taking the bets.
Yeah.
Because he's like an
They
elite.
busted the bookie.
Yeah, so he's an illegal bookmaker. But he said a couple interesting things. One of which was that he was like, when he was taking the bets, he was like, it was, he claims that it was very apparent that like whatever this guy was doing, like he was doing it without Ohtani's knowledge. And it's like, I don't know how that would be possible or why you would even say that out loud. So it's kind of like, I feel like he's probably on the payout. But then also he said like over half of athletes are betting on sports. He was just like, yeah, it's like half of professional athletes are betting on sports.
That they're playing in.
He didn't say that, just that they are betting on sports.
Yeah.
At least half. Yeah.
I mean, dude, you ever see fucking that expose about Phil Mickelson's betting history?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. And they like put out, they essentially like break it down into like a daily thing. And it was like he had like 57 baseball bets a day
Yeah.
for like a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't doom scroll. He's just fucking on there like, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this.
Well, even the interpreter, you know how much money he ended up fucking betting?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. Like,
Yeah.
what's the sentence versus how much money did he lose?
So
Like,
he lost $40 million. He placed $180 million worth of bets. Like, that's fucking crazy.
but he only lost 40.
But yeah, so like over the span of time that he was doing it, he placed $180 million worth of bets.
But he ended up 40 in the hole.
And he ended up down $40 million, like for the whole thing. Yeah. But again,
I wonder what the most he was up.
I mean, if you're $40 million in the hole, like you probably wasn't up very long if he was at all.
Was he playing with it's not like he put $180 million into the account.
No, but
Like,
that's
that
what
wasn't his original deposit.
Basically, the guy was basically he says like
did he
would place like $500,000 worth of bets every week, and he would always call being like super respectful, and like the guy was like, I never asked him if he was placing him for Ohtani or anything, just whatever, like I'm sure he.
I mean, how would the bookie know that this fucking random guy that he's talking to has anything to do with Ohtani?
Well, I think that was the whole point, was that like he did know that. Yeah.
How
Because
did
I think this guy is kind of like a bookie for professional athletes.
so this could be like a Balco.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They're not going to fucking peel back
Yeah,
this
dude's
curtain because they don't want to know.
This guy's gonna
Yeah.
die in jail.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Where's
getting the Hillary Clinton treatment.
Let's take the numbers on that.
Yeah. What's the over under
No,
on how many days that dude lasts in prison?
Oh, bro, I gotta shout that out. Who's my boy that didn't score a touchdown in the NFC Championship game?
Devonta Smith.
Yeah, fuck you, Devonta Smith, you skinny ass little fucking fuck you, Philadelphia Eagle face.
You know what his nickname is though? It's a fucking cool nickname. Is
he called the Slim Reaper?
He is. Yeah. It's a fucking badass nickname.
I feel like that's Kevin Durant's nickname.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking lousy then. Is that really? Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. That's another thing. The NBA needs to bring back more fucking nicknames.
Yeah. Dude, I saw this thing about Kevin Durant. It's this guy like getting all fired up on this podcast, and basically
I guess he is called the Slim Reaper.
He basically talks about Kevin Durant's failures as a professional.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's not legendary. He's like, when Westbrook gets hurt and it's all his show, he's like, he falls to the Spurs, and then the same thing happens and he falls to Memphis, and then he goes and he's the one that chokes a 3-1 lead in the playoffs, and then he goes and joins the other team, and then he wins with them, and then he goes and he's done nothing. He goes, he's the one that shot the free throw to tie the game, but his foot was on the line, or to win the game, but his foot was on the line. And then they went to overtime, and he scored no buckets. He scored no buckets in overtime, and he's like so fired up about it. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like,
Jesus.
and then I like sent it to my one basketball friend that like we always go back and forth about like LeBron and Jordan on.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, just like listen to what he's putting out there. And even my man's just like, he might be right.
Yeah.
He might be right. Like Kevin Durant might be the most overrated, like legendary guy.
Yeah. Is he? Well, yeah. I mean, I guess he is legendary at this point. Yeah.
I mean, but what has he done? That's what the guys pointing out.
Yeah, I mean, he joined a super team, and then before that, he was on a super team, and they couldn't even get it done. Like, I mean, fucking OKC was fucking him, Westbrook, and fucking Harden. Like, that should be enough to win a title.
But they traded Harden before he like really blossomed.
Yeah, but I mean, he was still there.
I mean, they went and they lost an NBA Finals to the Heat. They lose to the Heat in the Heat's second year together.
Yeah.
So. And then I want to say that at the deadline next year is when they move
Harden
to the Rockets. Yeah, so I don't think they ever really got to put that together.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know, man. I miss the old basketball.
Yeah. Yep. It's not the same. My oldest won his championship though. So just playing white man ball. Just fucking in the paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a force. He was playing against a kid who was the son of like a former NFL player too.
Nice.
I don't know who. I think it was like a nobody, but still more than I've accomplished.
Is this did this young man wear any of the Celtics jerseys that I sent you home with at any point?
Yeah, no, he rocks. Yeah, he rocks the other Pierce one. Yeah.
Oh, it is Paul. I can't remember if it was a Pierce or a Larry Bird jersey.
No, that was a Pierce. Paul Pierce.
Yeah. Dude, Paul Pierce has a funny story about how KG used to get himself fired up.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're playing, and it's funny because Paul Pierce is like telling the story. I don't think KG's in the room to like stop him.
Yeah.
Because they have a podcast together. It's fucking funny.
Yeah.
But he's like, man, we're playing Dallas, and Dirk is busting KG's ass.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then they go to the free throw line or whatever, and I hear KG being like, he called me the N-word, P. He called me the N-word. And Paul Pierce was like, I was standing right there.
I don't think he did.
He fucking didn't tell you that shit. And he's like, that's when I realized, like, he would tell himself stuff in his head to get himself, like, fired up.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know he said it. He's like, he said it in German. And Paul Pierce is like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, you didn't say nothing like that. Like,
what do you fucking speak German?
Yeah. I don't know, dude. KG is a funny fucking, like, the shit that he comes out with on the podcast, like,
yeah.
There's some guy, he might play for the Mets. Is there some, like, he has, like Mexican heritage, and he comes out to, like, the fucking, like, it's almost like Mexican gunslinger music.
Is it Iglesias?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, he used to be like a pop star.
Is he a reliever?
No, okay.
No,
you're talking about Edwin Diaz. Edwin
I don't know
Diaz.
the guy's name, but I just know that
he was the one that, like, made that, like, the fucking Mexican, like, funeral music, like the
yes,
yeah,
with the horn or whatever,
yeah.
right? So they're watching, like, KG is essentially asking Paul Pierce if he's ever seen this before, and he's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. He's like, yo, you go to. So then, like, the shot goes like it's like behind the computer, and it's like Paul Pierce is sitting there watching it, and like KG's in the background. They start playing the music. He's like fucking
Getting into it?
yeah, like he's like, this shit is hard.
Yeah.
This shit is hard. Like just yo, I'm telling you, if you were ever like Celtics or Timberwolves, if you like KG, you're missing out by not watching KG Paul Pierce podcast.
All right.
It's good. It's a good watch.
It's a good watch.
Yeah, especially because they talk like real shit. You know, like they kind of dish. It's almost, you know what it's similar to, like if you're a Patriots fan, you watch like the
Edelman?
Edelman podcast. Yeah, like they're like real about it enough, and they're like funny guys in real life enough where you're like, dude, this is fucking great content, great content.
Yeah,
we need one. We need I don't know who would be similar for like a Red Sox one. Maybe like a Jonathan Papelbon or something. I don't know who would tell the
possibly
real.
watch Jonathan Papelbon for longer than fucking 10 minutes.
Bro,
That's insufferable.
Is he?
Yeah. Have you never seen him on like a podcast and shit?
I feel like I have a few times. I feel like I saw him like talking.
He's the fucking worst.
Remember when he choked out like Bryce Harper or some shit? That's pretty fucking legendary.
His only saving grace is that moment in my eyes, but otherwise he's fucking annoying as fuck.
You didn't like his dancing the jig?
No, I fucking hated that. Yeah, but no, it's probably more of a who the fuck is it? God damn it, who's on the Idiots? What was that fucking guy's name? Millar. It'd probably be like Millar and I don't know, some other fucking token white guy.
Like Trot Nixon.
Yeah,
I could see Millar and Trot Nixon being a good duo.
Why does anyone remember who Trot Nixon is? I hate the Red Sox for that shit. Where it's just like, all we're gonna do, like that entire time that David Ortiz was doing what David Ortiz does, I feel like no one actually. People forget like how little he was appreciated back in like the early parts of that dynasty, where it's like, dude, this guy's hitting 40 fucking home runs, and you're like acting like he's like the 7th best player on your fucking team.
Yeah.
You know? Instead, I have to hear people talk shit about fucking Trot Nixon, some dog shit platoon outfielder who couldn't make it in any other fucking team in the entire goddamn league.
I think he just had a catchy name.
He did? Yeah.
And I think he just wore his socks all up like that.
Yeah.
And you just remembered, you're like, oh, the guy with all the red.
I mean, really, it honestly is just Boston Red Sox like white horse shit, you know? It's
what
like,
about, I remember.
Mike Lowell's a fucking all-star for you guys. No one even remembers his fucking name.
I remember Mike Lowell. Mike Lowell's a man. We got him in the Beckett trade.
Yeah.
They like threw him in because they didn't want him anymore. We're like, we'll take that.
Yeah.
I feel like Beckett, nobody talks about Beckett enough. I feel like he's like too long.
I literally just was at the bar a couple nights ago, and like some guy like went to college with Josh Beckett and said he's like the funniest guy ever. Like he's like friends with him. Like, oh shit. It's like, thank him for making me watch like 1,000,000 4.5-hour-long football fucking baseball games.
That just reminded me of the story. I think we talked about this, but Gronk went to college with the guy that got thrown out of Yankee Stadium for like fucking taking the ball out of the dude's hand or whatever. Yeah. And they played like intramural hockey together.
Yeah.
Like that's such a weird.
Yeah.
Because like Gronk was on like Good Morning Football, I think, talking to that girl K something on the NFL Network. And he's like, I just want to say, I know that guy, and he's crazy.
Yeah, and if Gronk is saying that you're crazy, then you must be fucking nuts.
Yeah, we talked about that because we both know people that went into that house where like all the cabinets were like ripped off the walls and shit.
Weirdly enough, there was another guy at the bar maybe like a couple weeks ago at this point who says that he went to college with Dan Campbell. He wasn't friends with Dan, like the Lions head coach.
Yeah, I know who that is.
I think he went to A&M maybe or something. I think they're Aggies. So he went to Texas A&M though, and I guess Dan Campbell, when he was at Texas A&M, got in a lot of trouble because he during like one of the pep rallies or whatever, you know, they were playing like some fucking school that like, you know, was more like liberal or whatever than Texas A&M would be. Surprise, surprise. But he said like, basically to the extent of, I'm just glad I play for a team that knows that a woman is a woman and a man is a man.
Who said that? Dan Campbell. That's funny.
But yeah, this is one of those moments where I was just like, yikes, Dan Campbell. That's it's not a great look in the 21st century, but, you know, still funny.
He reminds me a lot of the PC principal from South Park.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but I still like him. I would take him as my coach.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, not that we got Vrabel. I wanted Vrabel.
You guys are out of your minds. I don't know why you think that Vrabel's going to be like any different. Why are you guys just recycling old Patriots? I feel like you're falling for your own trick. Like, Bill Belichick used to just, like, get these fucking OCs and DCs, and they would just be like, all you're going to do is just sit in this room and not bother me, and I'm going to tell you fucking everything we're going to be doing, you know? And then he would send those guys to other teams in the fucking league and be like, here, you can have this guy. He's going to be great for you. It's like, it never works
And
out.
fire him, and then
Yeah.
I'll bring him back as a unpaid assistant.
Yeah. Now all you guys are doing are just then trying to, like, reclaim your trash that Bill Belichick, like, scattered to the wind. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think you would have been.
I'm not sitting here being like we're fucking like the Chiefs better watch out.
Yeah.
But like I'm excited about who they like for who was out there and available. I'll take it. That's all I'm saying.
I think honestly what it is you guys are trying to like rediscover this quote unquote Patriot way. Now the Patriot way worked because you had Tom Brady on a sweetheart deal for the organization as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play, who is committed to winning Super Bowls with a coach who also was committed to winning Super Bowls. And you could do it. You could bring in guys like the Junior Seau year where it was like, hey, come here, we're going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, like all those guys that like would want to come to the Patriots to ring chase. You can't have the Patriot way, though, if you don't have that infrastructure. So it's like you can't bring in a guy because this is the same shit that happened to the Lions whenever we fucking hired Matt Patricia and like your fucking jerk off GM, or what happened with the Browns when they hired fucking Romeo Crennel, or what happened with the fucking where was fucking whatever.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, but that's just it.
You're not going to put it all together at once.
You don't. I know this sounds crazy, but you don't start with that attitude though. You have to get a guy like Dan Campbell or like a fucking, you know, the kid they're like a fucking offensive guru. You need to find somebody who their main thing isn't like, oh, I need everybody to work hard and like, you know, you guys are all just gonna like fall in line and do it my way kind of thing. You need like somebody, you need like a glue guy, you know, so that way you can attract guys and you can try and get the best out of them. Because nobody's gonna fucking sit there and listen to that shit from Mike Vrabel when it's like, bro, you won a fucking Super Bowl 2 years ago, and it wasn't as a coach.
He won 3 Super Bowls, and he like caught touchdowns in 2 of them as a linebacker.
That doesn't mean he's a fucking good coach.
I think he is.
I don't know.
I think he's young enough to like get in there and still be like physical and teach guys technique and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying we're gonna have this crazy turnaround. I'm just saying for what was out there, I'm happy with the decision that was made.
Yeah, I kind of think you
Like,
would have been better off with the devil you don't know than the devil you know.
If you told me that I could go pick anybody, like if Andy Reid was out there or something, like obviously I don't think Mike Vrabel's the best coach in the NFL, but I think he might have been the best available.
Yeah.
And also, like, is it also addition by subtraction a little bit where like Brady kind of seems to be, by all accounts, having a little bit of say in the Raiders organization?
Yeah.
So like, do you also keep Vrabel away from another AFC? And he interviewed with the Jets, too.
Yeah.
So you kept him out of the division, and you kept him out of the conference. And
I don't know. I think as a Patriot fan, I would be very worried if they're making front office moves based on their fear of the Jets and the Raiders. I would.
No, I'm just saying you're killing. I'm just saying killing more birds.
Yeah.
With less stones.
I'm just saying, if the Jets and Raiders are interested in that guy, then you might say to yourself, like, why am I interested in the same guy that the Jets and the Raiders are interested in? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
That's a red flag. Is all I know.
I mean, if you told me, look at what the Raiders just did. They hired Pete Carroll and paired him with Chip Kelly.
Yeah,
that's not moving my needle.
No, not really.
Like, I'm more excited about Vrabel and Josh McDaniels than Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly.
Yeah,
so
that's more of a circus move, where it's kind of just like, come to Vegas and watch this fucking nonsense.
Yeah, I don't get, like, I've never hated on Pete Carroll because I've always thought he was kind of like the opposite of Belichick, where he, like, let guys have a personality and stuff like that, but
I just feel like that's a dangerous thing to allow guys to have in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That if you're going to do a Patriot way type thing,
you probably
that's
need
the place
it the
to do
most,
it.
Yeah,
exactly. Because at least then you could attract guys by being like, hey, we're in Vegas. And then once they get here, you could be like, hey, you need to do your fucking job now, you know?
Raise your hand if you own a Corvette Stingray or a Dodge Hellcat. All right, you guys are all traded. We can't have any more of this Henry Ruggs Topgolf nonsense.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know who showed up at Pete Carroll's press conference? Is Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah,
and that's odd to me because Marshawn's always kind of been like, I went and laughed in his face after he didn't give me the ball in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, like, how are you guys still friends?
So I did dig into this. There was only 16 seconds on the clock. The reason that the Patriots had to run the ball is because they couldn't kneel the ball in the end zone because it was on, like, the 1. So that's why they had to run the fucking play to like get out of the end zone so that they can run out the clock.
So then that finally solves a long-standing problem of mine with Hightower.
Yeah.
Because, like, you ever notice that? Like, when they're...
I didn't notice that, where he tries to strip him.
Hightower tries to strip the ball. So what the fuck are you doing? He obviously has the football IQ to be like, why are you trying to take it out of the end zone?
Yeah. Stay here. We
right,
fucking be on 20.
How many seconds are on the clock when they get it?
It was 16 seconds.
So what would happen, essentially, if they don't advance the ball to the 1-yard line?
What do you mean?
If he makes the interception and he gets... If Malcolm Butler gets tackled in the end zone, do the Patriots get the ball on the 20-yard line?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it's a touchback. Yeah.
It's just weird to think about it like that.
Yeah.
It's such an odd play.
Well, so, and then 16... yeah, so... To go back to the Pete Carroll thing,
essentially,
though,
if there were no timeout... But the Seahawks did have timeouts.
Yeah.
So the Patriots essentially couldn't...
Well, the Seahawks had one timeout. So that was the reason that, like, going for the pass there wasn't necessarily a bad move. Because it's 1st and goal, I think, at that point. They're on the, whatever, the fucking 1-yard line or 2-yard line or something. You go for the pass there with 16 secons with the one timeout in your pocket.
3 seconds.
You burn 3 seconds, and you still have the timeout in your pocket in case you want to run the ball. Run the ball, you don't make it in, you could call timeout, you can run it again, right? So, I mean, that's your sequence.
Yeah.
You pass it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't fucking hate the call. You pass it, and then you would leave yourself that option. If you run the ball on that first down and get stuffed, now all of a sudden you have to burn that timeout. Now all of a sudden it's 13 seconds with, maybe even more. Like, call it 12 seconds, 11 seconds. You have no timeouts. You're on the 1-yard line. Now what happens if you get stuffed? Are you going to be able to get back up to the balls and fucking spike it? And then if you spike it, then that's 4th fucking down. So like now it's just like you have 2 rushes basically to get in the fucking end zone. I don't know. I don't hate the call. It didn't work.
I hate the call because I hate the call for multiple reasons. One, you have kind of like an inexperienced quarterback in Russell Wilson doing this. Like, you don't have this fucking like all-time Pro Bowl caliber.
He'd already won a Super Bowl.
Because they're going on a return.
But
did he win the Super Bowl? Or it's like, did the Legion of Boom win that Super Bowl?
Regardless, he was on an NFL roster that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that Seahawks defense made like Peyton Manning's team quit in like the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally like the first fucking play where the ball got snapped over his fucking head.
So you're doing this play, right? And you're running this play that's also on tape, right? Like, this play is on tape because this is like a legendary like Ernie Adams moment that they go back and talk about, who's like a Patriots special assistant, and he would go and find these plays that he would essentially game plan against the Patriots as the other team, and be like, they ran this with success, I think we're weak here. So he had them practicing against this play, in the practice for the Super Bowl. He's like, they're going to try to run this play on us. And then also to that point, the Patriots have a player on their team named Brandon Browner who won the Super Bowl with them the previous year as part of the Legion of Boom. And they're running the play. Brandon Browner is the guy that, whoever the receiver is, he's the guy that fucking stops him dead in his tracks. Like, he jams him on the line. And then you have Revis and Butler right there as well. It's like, so not only are you calling this pass play, which I get, like the worst case scenario is an interception. Best case scenario, you drop it, no time goes off the clock, right?
Well, best case scenario, they get the touchdown, but
I'm saying to not win the, you know what I mean? Like the best of the worst, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. But then you throw it to the side of the field that has the guy that used to play for you that probably knows all this shit from your practice last year, and fucking Revis is on that side too.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, why? Like, all things considered, right? All things considered, you figure out that those two guys are on that side. Why isn't the pass play to where the two all fucking pro guys are not? Like, you know what I mean? So there's just like, the more you look into it and shit, the more it's like,
who is the Paul to? Was that to Doug Baldwin? Was that like the receiver, the intended receiver?
I don't think it's Baldwin. I think it's Lockett. No,
I think that was before Lockett, wasn't it?
Lockett's the one that makes that miracle catch, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, the one that that got them down there.
Yeah. It might. I don't think it is. I don't think it is Baldwin. I think it's some. I don't know.
I mean, if it was Baldwin, I mean, I don't hate that either, because it's kind of like, I mean, because Baldwin was fucking good for a couple of years.
For a while.
So I mean, my best against your best, see who wins. The bottom line is, though, from a situational side of football, with all of the factors like considered like situationally, it doesn't not it makes sense for them to do what they did, execution wise, and then also like you said, like I mean there are certain intangibles where it's like you have Browner on the fucking Patriots, that's the side of the fucking field that Revis is on. Like if you want to take in the personnel, like yeah, I mean maybe that was probably ill-conceived, but situationally, like in a vacuum, Team A against Team B in that situation, it's not a fucking terrible call,
Yeah. I mean, live, I'm not sitting there being like, why?
They're definitely running it, or they're definitely, yeah.
Like, I wasn't sitting there in disbelief during the, I mean, maybe, like my Patriots fandom of it all falling apart, it was taking over at that point. But I wasn't sitting there being like, why aren't they running the ball 3 times in a row? Like that didn't occur to me until like the next day when I more started thinking about it. Be like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
well, again, they wouldn't have been able to run the ball 3 times in a row. They would have run the ball the first time. If they got stuffed, then they would have had to burn the timeout. Then they would have had to have run the ball again. If they got stuffed, then all of a sudden they're spiking the ball. And then for a 4th down, they maybe could have gotten
then
the
you
third.
Run that play.
Yeah. Well, that point.
I just think you don't fuck. And I've heard Marshawn talk about this too.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure he lines up on the wrong side of the field for the play because he's like, obviously they're fucking giving me the ball.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then he's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So you also have this, and they have that timeout. So it's like now you, as Pete Carroll, you're not like, yo, Marshawn's not in the right place. And we're going to throw the ball to where fucking they give you that look of having those 2 guys on that side. Why don't you use the timeout at that point?
If Lynch isn't in the right spot, then they 100% should have called the timeout.
So,
but that's just it. Then they couldn't, because now all of a sudden you call the timeout, and it's like, well, now fuck, it's first down, 16 seconds. Now we don't even have a fucking timeout.
Yeah,
I think.
And then essentially you're giving the ball to Marshawn with the game on the line.
Yeah,
which I think I would rather have taken. Because to me, at that, what I'm doing, I'm at this point, there's no way that I think that they're not going to score the touchdown. Like, as a Patriots fan sitting there in live time, like, I'm almost mad at Hightower on the previous play because he tackles Marshawn by, like, his fucking shoestrings.
Yep.
And I'm like, why?
Yeah,
because to me, I'm like, bro, just let him score. Like, you know what I mean? At least we'll have like a couple Hail Marys or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? To try to tie the game or whatever the situation was with the points at the time.
And that game had been fucking crazy. It was just touchdown after touchdown, fucking back and forth.
The 4th quarter was fucking crazy in that game.
That was probably I mean, if it's not the best Super Bowl, it's probably one of them. Pound for pound, that's probably the best Super Bowl that's ever been played. Like in terms of just exciting moments.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was back and forth.
The Patriots Atlanta Super Bowl was fucking crazy too.
Yeah, because you're a Patriots fan.
Yeah, but dude, it's not just that, dude. Because Atlanta keeps it fucking interesting, dude. Like they had that Julio Jones catch happens.
Yeah,
there's
all I'm saying though is for the first
sack, they get a sack on Brady that takes him out of like there's
for the first 3 quarters of that game, it was unwatchable. It was just like, this fucking sucks. And then that last like 4th quarter and like
you're not sitting there as like a Patriots hater being like
no. Well, first of all, no, because I never believed for a second that the Patriots were going to lose that game. I know that sounds crazy, but I literally woke my wife up at like the moment you guys were down by 16. The moment I did the math in my head where I was like 2 touchdowns and 2-point conversions, I woke my wife up and I was like, watch what's about to fucking happen. Watch. She was like, they're going to lose. It's like fucking 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. I'm like, watch. And I watched it. All go down. It's like
that's like your wife waking you up and like being like, "Watch how good these cookies come out on this recipe." You're like,
oh, she didn't care at all. But I just needed to have another human being witness to me being like, "I see you. I know what's about to happen. Fuck you." Yeah, that was a wild Super Bowl though. But I think the best one in terms of like start to finish, I'm fucking entertained the entire game. Was that game? It was Seahawks Pats.
I remember.
You guys are so fucking spoiled though that like, dude, if you make a list of the 10 best Super Bowls to ever be played, you're like 7 of them.
Yeah, but I'll give Steelers Cardinals. That's another good one, like that James Harrison return.
Yeah,
there's a couple crazy like Larry Fitzgerald fucking plays in that. It goes back and forth pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, went all the way down to the end too. The fucking Santonio Holmes sketch.
Titans,
Rams.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was very close, like the entire run.
Yeah. I still think I would take the Pats Seahawks over both of those, but I mean, outside of that, I mean the other ones are just Pats Super Bowls. It was Pats Rams. Pats Rams got to be up there, like the first Pats Rams, not the second one. Fucking
I don't remember
Pats Panthers was a great Super Bowl. Fucking yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're trying to take the Patriots ones out of there.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I would throw the Pats Panthers in the top 10, you know? Like, there are Pats Super Bowls you forget about that, like, were fucking really good Super Bowls. And I'm not even, now I'm only counting the ones that they fucking won. The Pats Giants Super Bowl, both of them were fucking great.
Dude, I hate to say it. We left off on this where we didn't follow back to, like, what the greatest team of all time is.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't even, like, to me, it might be, like, that Giants team that upsets the Patriots.
No. The greatest team ever? No. Come on.
They got it done when they needed to get it done.
Yeah, but that doesn't make the greatest team ever.
They make, I mean, greatest team, greatest story. Like, what? How are you going to identify the?
Well, yeah, I guess I would just want to have more of a parameter for like what greatest team means.
They make the playoffs as a wild card. Yeah. They beat every single, like every team that they beat was a conference champion or not
Oh yeah, so I mean,
division champion.
They're the greatest story then in NFL history, I guess.
I don't know.
But
they called their shot. They said the Patriots are only going to score so many points. They only scored that many points.
Yeah.
Like, they beat an undefeated juggernaut. Like, I don't know. Like, what more do you want? To me, like, it has to be a team that has, like, a defense like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, well, yeah, but if you want to talk about defenses, I wouldn't put that Giants defense in the top 20 NFL defenses of all time. Like, you know, you got 85 Bears. You have the fucking the Redskin teams of like the early 90s.
Yeah, but none of those teams have like the offensive firepower to compete with like the more like if you're gonna put the more modern teams in this like who's the greatest team ever? Like I feel like the more modern or like the offenses from the last 20 years are gonna smoke.
Yeah, well,
they're not going to be able to put points up.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like the fucking Miami Dolphins of this past season could beat the 85 Bears. You can't compare generations. I'm saying, like, of the time, you know, you have to compare, like, who was the best team against who's, like, the second best team. And then, like, that has to be the barometer then of who the best team of all time is. Because, I mean, even, like, the early 90s Cowboys, I would probably say that they belong in the discussion if it weren't for the fact that they kind of had, like, Steve Young's 49ers, like, you know, kind of in that same, like, discussion, you know? It's like the NFC Championship, you know, the Cowboys, granted, would just beat the fucking shit out of everybody who went to the AFC when that came out of the AFC. But their NFC game, like the NFC Championship every year was the Super Bowl. It was like Cowboys-Niners to see which one of the two unbelievable teams would win the fucking Super Bowl, you know? But, like, in terms of, like, gulfs between, like, number one and number two, like, yeah, I mean.
I just go back to, like, I just think you need to have an elite defense to be on this list.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so to me, it's like the 03-04 Patriots pop, like
but I don't think
the Ravens team that beats the Giants, that beats Strahan's Giants early in his career.
Yeah,
but it's like
Joe Flacco. Yeah.
No, not Flacco. The one with fucking.
Oh, you're talking. I think that was pre-Strahan. That was like the fucking Amani Toomer like Giants, like Kerry Collins. But that team was fucking. That Ravens defense was like fucking.
I think Strahan's on that team, bro. Because I remember an interview where Strahan like details how he remembers losing that Super Bowl, and that was a driving force of him being like, I'm not losing another Super Bowl to these Patriots.
All right, if he was on that team, he was like a rookie then.
And the thing about taking the Patriots off of the like the 07 Patriots off of like the all time list, like I'll fucking fight that all day. Like that's one of the best teams of all time. They needed a rematch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the team...
that Giants team should have beat you.
A team
like in the regular season.
Yeah, and it's almost... Yeah. And the numbers on that, if you lose to a team in the regular season, you have a rematch in the Super Bowl or the playoffs, you win.
Yeah.
Like, that's... Well, it's not a guarantee, but it was like 6-2 or something like that were the numbers on that. Yeah, like... And I remember reading that stat and being like...
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was like, I don't fucking like that at all, dude.
Well, I think they played you. I think it was the second to the last week of the year, right? I think
it was the last game of the season.
Was it the last game of the season? Yeah,
and we won. We won in a cocky way. Like the passing touchdown record on the season was on the line. The receiving touchdown season was on the line for Tom Brady and Randy Moss.
Yeah.
And the undefeated season. And they go for it all. They fucking just chuck it to Randy down the sideline, and either Brady overthrows him or Randy underruns the route, or he gets locked up.
Randy Moss doesn't underrun routes, so that was Brady.
So yeah,
Brady
had to be Brady.
Him.
Let's be honest. Yeah. So then they literally just are cocky enough to like be like, run it again.
Yeah.
And they run it, and Randy catches it for the touchdown. It's the most receiving touchdowns. It's the most passing touchdowns. Yeah. It's the undefeated regular season, like all in one shot.
I mean, I remember
they should have lost to the Ravens in that season too. Like there was a late touchdown that won them that game too. Like The offense wasn't as dominant in the second half of that season as it was in the first half of the season. But I don't give a fuck. Like Randy Moss, Wes Welker, Tom Brady, Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. I mean, we're not even talking about your offensive line, too, at this point.
Who am I? Yeah. I'm missing a lot of people on defense.
That's what, the Sebastian Vollmer kind of offensive line with fucking
I don't think.
What the fuck is the other guy? Who's your main guy?
Matt Light.
No, Matt Light. But then there was the tackle who's like the rancher.
Seabass.
I've met the guy. I can't think of his fucking name.
They traded him to the Buccaneers late in his. Yeah, I can't remember his fucking name.
I can't fucking believe I've literally met this guy. Like he's like friends with my brother-in-law. What the fuck is this guy's name? Whatever.
San Diego Whale's vagina is having a conniption.
Yeah,
right
no
now.
shit. My bad.
What was his name?
I can't fucking believe it. Anyway, yeah.
But I don't know. I said all that to say, like, of all of the, like all these all-time teams that I think of, they always have like a defensive like identity to them. And then I think about like, well, what's their offense going to do against, like, are they going to be able to put the numbers up against the 07 Patriots?
Right.
And I just don't see, you know what I mean? Like you needed a special blend of people to aggravate Tom Brady in that game.
Yeah.
And you just so happened to have him, and you just so happen to have played him, 3 weeks ago?
Never mind. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to backtrack for a second. The best story of all time isn't that Giants team. The best story of all time is the fucking Kurt Warner Rams Greatest Show on Turf team.
Because he was like
he was a fucking working at a grocery store, and then he won the goddamn Super Bowl. That's the fucking greatest story.
Yeah.
And that team belongs in the discussion too. Fucking Greatest Show on Turf. You got Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce. The fucking defense is nothing to sneeze at. Fucking their offensive line is Orlando Pace on it. Like arguably the greatest offensive lineman in the history of football. Like that team kind of is sneaky really good too. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
Nah, man, I love this fucking shit.
That to me is like the best. That's the coolest story ever.
And he almost did it again with the Cardinals.
Yeah,
like
and he almost did it. He almost fucking went back against the fucking Pats. Like they were two touchdown favorites in that game. The Greatest Show on Turf
to repeat.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's where all the Spygate stuff happened. Like, how did this team fucking beat the Greatest Show on Turf?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I don't know. I'm still intrigued by that to find the answer to that question.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably honestly those fucking Steelers teams in the 70s. Like that's probably
like who had the greatest dose of offense and defense at the time.
Yeah, because you had fucking Lynn Swann, you had fucking Franco
Super
Harris,
Bowls
Mean Joe Green, fucking I mean, their defense was stacked. Steel Curtain, Terry Bradshaw, who, while I consider him to be overrated, was still a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like,
dude, there's something to say about. I feel like I looked this line up, like whatever you want to call this line in the sand, and I feel like it happened. Like Brett Favre is the guy who played without having the headset in the helmet, and then started playing with the headset in his helmet.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like everybody before Brett Favre, you didn't have guys calling like
you were on your own.
Yeah. Or like maybe you had a little bit of like sign language to your coach and shit like that. You know what I mean? But like all those guys that like Marino, Joe Montana, who's like Montana's like Peyton Manning of that time, like
Aikman probably.
But all these guys like they like there's no offensive coordinator helping you in your helmet.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're calling even like Terry, like you said, Terry Bradshaw, like they're doing a lot of that. Like they're coming up with a lot of that shit on the field.
Yeah.
Right? Like not all of that is like being called into him. It's just like, hey boys, like
this is the play, and then you get up to the line and
I
you're
think
just
this works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like those quarterbacks that were their own offensive coordinators, essentially, they're a special breed.
Yeah.
Like
it was also a different NFL though in general.
Yeah. Yeah. Throwing to plumbers.
I mean, kind of. Big ass plumbers.
Dude, those guys had to be like the NFL where like guys are like drinking beers and having cigarettes at halftime.
Yeah.
Like those are crazy photos.
Yeah.
To be looking at. You're like, holy shit, dude.
Do you know who Charles Haley is? He was like a famous like defensive player for the Cowboys teams of like the 70s, just a fucking maniac. But apparently Charles Haley had like a famously huge cock, and There's a story about Matt Millen, who was on those teams, the fucking offensive lineman. He's sitting there playing poker in the locker room with a couple buddies, and all of a sudden he just feels like like that, and he doesn't even look up, and he just throws his dick on his shoulder. He goes, "Hello, Charles." Like he would just be going,
just that, yeah,
he would just be going around fucking throwing his cock on people.
That would make me want to get traded.
Well, yeah. Anyway, do we have anything about cocks on there that we can segue into?
I don't know.
No. All right.
Oh yeah, we did say how do you be saying the counterpart to Ken and blank in Street Fighter?
Well, I'm afraid to say it now because apparently this is our friendship on the line, but I call him Ryu.
Yeah, that's what I say.
All right. Are there people that say it the other way?
Ryu.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
That's so fucking stupid. Like,
even if that is how his name is actually pronounced, like the Japanese were wrong then.
Yes.
We're not doing that.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
And also, like, aren't they like the two like white ninjas in the game essentially? Like, why is this motherfucker's name Ryu?
I mean, I guess
like, why isn't it like Ken and like John or some shit? You know what I mean? Like,
you can kind of look at him and say like maybe he's like
half Japanese or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, essentially you just like redrew the two guys from Double Dragon and like put them in a fighting game.
Yeah.
Like,
who's your guy in Street Fighter? Who's like your go-to?
You know, I did not have a Super Nintendo in my household as it came out.
Yeah.
Like I got a Super Nintendo like later.
Street Fighter was on Sega too.
I don't think it was, dude. I think it was a Super Nintendo exclusive.
It had to have been because I was playing it. I didn't even have Super Nintendo.
Maybe it didn't come out until later. So there's some type of natural border essentially where I didn't get into it too much until later.
Yep.
I definitely didn't fuck. And also, I was way more of like a Mortal Kombat guy.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat was better.
I fuck with Mortal Kombat way harder. And
who's your guy in Mortal Kombat?
Like any of the ninjas. I probably started out as like a Sub-Zero Scorpion guy.
Yeah.
And then when you like could unlock Smoke and Noob Saibot, like I would fuck with them because Noob essentially had like all the special moves of everybody.
Yep.
But then as like Mortal Kombat Trilogy came out or Mortal Kombat 3, and they had like the mechanized ninjas.
Yeah, dude, we're on the same lines.
Those guys were the shit,
Cyrax?
dude. Like the guy that would like disappear into the floor and like come up with like a
punch.
fucking and the other guy had like the net.
Yeah.
That would get you.
Yeah, Cyrax was the net, I think. Yeah.
Cyrax is Sector.
Yeah.
And then there was a robot Smoke as well.
Yeah.
So
you
like
had to
those,
unlock him though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those guys, I like once I discovered those ninjas, I fucked with them. But honestly, yo, shout out to my boy, my fucking best friend, fucking Peter Jordan, bro. He used to whip my fucking ass with a combination of Cabal and Striker. And it used to piss me the fuck off because I would be like, you're using the gayest fucking characters.
Yeah.
And it was funny. This guy grew up to be fucking Army veteran. Now he's like a parole officer. And he was like whipping my ass in Mortal Kombat with the cop back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, I guess Cabal's pretty cool. Cabal's like a fucking like...
Remind me who Cabal is.
He's kind of got like Predator scraper things. He's got like a mask.
Ball with a mask. Why am I blanking on this dude?
He's like a.
So I used to be
after the Outer World takes over our region, right? He's like the.
I feel like my heyday for Mortal Kombat was 1 and 2. So maybe. Oh yeah, no, I do remember this guy. Yeah.
Like these things. When the combos broke out, he'd be whipping my ass with these fucking crowbar things, bro. And then Stryker would come in. He had all these fucking bombs and guns and shit. He just fucked me up with that combo.
Yeah.
But
number 1, I was either a Liu Kang or Scorpion guy, and then number 2, I was always like one of the mechanized guys. I was either Cyrax or Sector.
But two is a great game because you're forgetting. You're skipping right over into 3.
Oh, am I 3? Oh, never mind.
2 brings in Reptile, which is a great fucking character.
Okay. No, that's right. Yeah, because 2 is with like Baraka, too, the guy with the fucking blades.
I used to fuck with Baraka big time, too.
2 is Baraka for me, and then 3 was Sector and Cyrax.
Anytime I would, like, in my young man life as a single guy, if I ever met a chick with fucked up teeth, I'd be like, it's fucking Baraka over there. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like other cool characters.
Jax
in that
came
game.
in at number 2.
I never really fucked with Jax.
Yeah.
Or like Liu Kang. I thought it was like cheesy to use Liu Kang because those like special moves were like too easy. Like
the chicken.
The
chicken
bite,
fucking,
well, it's like forward
Yeah.
A and forward C and hold
Yeah.
down and B. Like, it was like the easiest shit to fit. Like, whenever somebody would fight me with Liu Kang, I'd be
you.
like, come on. What the fuck? But yeah, and then I think
Oh, Raiden. Raiden was another one that was
Raiden
like,
was cool.
yeah. But again, he was kind of super powered too, where it was kind of like all you had to do was that fucking shit where he just like flew
Yeah.
across the screen. You could do that the whole fucking match if you wanted to.
Kano was my boy too. We're
Yeah.
forgetting about Kano.
Yeah.
He's got like a long-standing history. What about? Did you ever have it on Game Boy? Mortal Kombat on Game Boy?
No.
That was like a different experience
Yeah.
too. Like I had Mortal Kombat 1 on Game Boy, and that was pretty fucking cool.
All right.
And then then Mortal Kombat introduces like now you're fighting in this 360 degree
yeah,
thing.
I didn't. Fuck
don't
with
like
it then.
that.
Yeah.
I just like the side
Yeah. It's a fucking side scroller.
shit.
Yeah.
And then I think
All those games like Tekken does that shit too, where it's like the fucking they introduce like the whole 360 thing. I was like, I'm out. I'm also with that
I
shit.
missed out. One of my neighborhood friends as a kid had Tekken.
Yeah.
and we would play, but like I don't know. I probably maybe 15 times in my life I've played that game.
I feel like also when Tekken was getting big, that was also when like we were getting big into drugs. Like that was like that period of time where it was like that was like 8th grade, where then all
Yeah.
of my friends started selling all of their systems to their drug dealers for weed.
Yeah. I feel like I remember playing Tekken on like either Sega Saturn
Yeah.
or like
Dreamcast.
32X.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had a friend with a Dreamcast.
I had a buddy who had
I've never played Dreamcast.
Really?
Yeah,
Dreamcast
never.
was cool.
I do know.
Actually, the NBA game for Dreamcast was fucking good. That was probably the best like basketball game I ever played.
There's something about Dreamcast where like the security on the system,
Yeah.
like would allow it didn't block you from using like burned games.
Oh.
So you could essentially burn like a Dreamcast game onto like a CDRW or
Yeah,
whatever,
and then play it on
and
there.
then put that in the Dreamcast. So like somebody figured that out early on in Dreamcast release.
Yeah.
So like they were making no money off selling the games. Somebody would just buy the game
And fucking
pirate
give it
the
to
shit
everybody.
out of it. Yeah, like,
Ready to Rumble was another good game for that. The fucking boxing game.
bro. The WWF games I
Yeah.
feel like are underrated as well.
Yeah.
Like
well for which system though?
N64 and
See, I used to fuck with the game for Sega Genesis. Like
never had that.
Oh, really?
We gotta,
Yeah.
yeah, dude. Dude, we gotta get this shit.
I was
set
gonna
up.
say we gotta fucking maybe next episode we'll fucking have this shit going.
Yeah.
Play some fucking video games. I think I'm gonna have to call it there because A, I'm gonna piss my pants, and B, I gotta go home.
Nice.
All right.
Like, share, subscribe. What the fuck? Let's get 100 followers going.
All right.
Peace.
Later, guys.